Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we're gonna look into how to create this COVID-19 global graph using one library, and I'll show you how to install that library starting from scratch until we create this graph right here. So here you can see that we have this basically looking similar to a line graph, but this one is called area graph. So for this one here, we can see that this is the number of cases, recover, and death. So when I hover on that, we can see this is the total number of for that date. I get the data from two data from each month. So starting from the first of the month and until the middle of the month, which is the 15th of month. And not only that, this graph we can also try to download it as a PNG file, the image file, or CSV file. And what make it look interesting is that when I hover on that, you can see this is the it's highlight the recover, and when I hover here, it's try to highlight the cases. And it has some sort of like a little bit of animation as well. So say right here, when I try to reload this page, you can see that there's like a little bit of the animation right there. And when I scroll down here, this is another graph, which is the bar graph. The data is again the same as the top one right here, starting from this here up until right now. So I just want to show you the differences of the graph that I have generated using this library. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so before I install this library with the chart that you just seen earlier, let's now just have a quick look why I decided to use this library other than the others. So right here, if you watch one of my previous video, you can also see that I also have implemented this one as well. So they have tons of charts right here. You can just check that. And the next one, which is the React Charts JS2. It's quite popular. You can see this is the number of that. It's not only for React, it's available for other languages as well, such as JavaScript. And this one, here are some of the examples. So you can see this is the example from the React Charts JS2. And the next one, which is the one that I'm going to use and install. So this one is called React Apex Charts, and as you can see that the look of these charts is look a lot better compared to the others, and I really like this animation and also the color, everything. So you can see this one is the example from Apex Charts. You can see this is for the particular for the React, and they has with the Vue, Angular, and also JavaScript as well. So right here we're going to install can be line or can be area or can be more, like as you can see here. So the look of it and also the combination of the color I really like. So this is why I decided to use this one. Alright, so enough talking. So now let's just install this library. And before install this library, I also want to quickly show you what we have on the COVID-19 Live Now right here. So here you can see that I created a new page. It's called Graph. And right here we have nothings, and also a little bit of we need to fix this margin as well. So now let's just have a quick look what I have here. Here it's quite similar to the other page, like the about page. So as you can see right here, I just copy from the about page and haven't changed the name yet. So now let's just do it here. Okay, so next one, go to the app.js. So you can see I import this file which is graph.js right here, and it's inside the pages folder, as you can see. And now I use this graph and basically create like a path for that. So the graph, the component is coming from this page right here. And next one, the navigation.js, nav.js. I basically create like a new one, the link. The link is coming from the React Router DOM. And here it's going to, when I click on that, it linked me to this page, which is the graph page. And this is the name of that. But right here, as seen on the website, they need to have like a space in between. So let me just create like the margin right. I will give this as 50 pixel. Right, let me fix this. And now let's just have a quick look again. So here you can see that this looking a lot better. When I click on the about page, it goes to the about page and the graph page, which we're going to install this one right here, the graph. So the graph should look stay after the title right here. Alright, so now let's just install this library. I'm going to copy this. Alright, so now the library has been installed. We just need to have a quick look here what the one that I'm going to use, which is this area. And now let's just see some of the example, the code sample. So I will choose the second one here. And here these are the code that generate these charts. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I just need to basically copy the sample right here and then render it on the React application and see how it goes. So now let me just copy this value right here from the this dot state until here. So I'm gonna paste that inside the React here. Alright, so instead of storing into the this dot state or inside the use state using React hooks, then I just paste everything right here first. Then I want to install it inside the constants variable, which is the series, and then change the colon into the equal sign, and the same as the option right here, const, and then this change to equal sign. So right now it's storing in these two variables, series and the option. Alright, so now we have import the dummy data up there, and we want to actually render the chart itself. So let's just need to copy this part, this code, and then just remove this. So this is what it looked like, but again we don't use this, we just call that directly. So this should be it, and then we need to import this one here. So just import from React Apex charts. This should be the one. Okay, now see what else that we need to update. So right here we have the option, the series. Okay, so right here just change this to semicolon. We need to separate this, same as this one, no longer need that one. So now let's have a look on the website. We may get an error because right here we just import this directly, but now let's just check if we get that error. Then if so, we can just install a new library from the Epic charts. So now let's just have a quick look first. So here you can see that the module not found, and then what we're going to do, we need to install another library on top of the React Epic charts. So it just like it depends on the other one to be able to run this component. Okay, so as you can see, this is quite similar to the one that we just had looked into. So this is the React Apex charts, and then this is just Apex charts. This is the library from basically for the JavaScript, and now we need to install this, and then we can just look again. Right, you can see that there's no error at all after I install this library. Then now let's just click on this graph. Alright, this is what we are going to look for, and here it is. It tried to render the data from the right here, the dummy data coming from this page. I just copy it into this React, and what we are going to do, instead of like using this dummy data, what I need to use the real data coming from the COVID-19 API. So now let's just have a quick look into the API. Okay, so now before we gonna go and continue working on this, we need to have the data for this. So the data that I'm going to use again with the cases from this API. So sometimes you can see that the URL is this one here, but sometimes it's this is the one, disease.sh. So these two are basically the same thing. Right now we can just instead of using this, again use this. They are the same basically. And now we can see that once we go to this homepage, you can see this global states for the COVID-19, and this is coming from the start and up to basically this is the latest date. So we need to have the data to be able to create look similar like this but not the same, which we going to use this chart. And to get the data, I just need to click on our docs here. And now when I scroll down, looking for the history, so this one, this is basically for all the countries. And now let's just click and then see first. Execute. So here you can see this is for each country coming from this, but then in this tutorial I'm not going to show you how to do or show the data for each country. Instead we're going to use all for history / all here. Right here, just click on the get, try it out, execute. So this one it will try to get the date, get the data for the last 30 days. So this is the one. And now let me just copy the request URL and then open this in a new page. So this is for the last 30 days. Okay, so this one is show the data for the last 30 days. If you want to see all the data from the start of the cases found up until today, then what you need to do, you just need to replace this 30 with the word all, but not this one. So say if you want to remove this and then hit enter, and you suppose that you can get all data, but it is not working that way. So now let's just again do this, and instead of 30 just equal to all. So here this is the first cases found, which is 555 in the 22nd of January up until the latest one, which is in the 5th. And the day I record this video, it's which is the day on the 9th of May, but for this one it show like a day before that, and at the same time in US the time zone is different from currently I'm here in Australia, so that's why it show me basically like the day I record this, which is the 9th of May, but it show me 2 days ago before that. And also instead of using this API to render everything on this React right here in this tutorial, for simplicity's sake, I just want to get some data from here. So basically this is the first one, and say next data that I'm going to get, which is the first, and then again with the 15. So for each month I just take 2 data from that, and then we just place that data, place it inside our React here. So now let's type out the data here and then see you guys in a minute. Okay, so for this category, which is the label for what we're going to show on the graph, the chart. So here we have the data coming from this 22nd, the 1st, and then the 15th again, up until 7th of May. So here, this is the data. You can see this is the number, and right here for the cases, again, which is here. For the next one here, for the recover, this is the number again, coming from the same date from these dates. So this is the recover right here. Start with the 28 until this number. So here 28 until this number, and the depth again, just want to show you this is the data that I get from. So from the 17 until this number, so here it is. But instead of again getting all of the data from a list here, I just choose it in between for 2 data for each month. So now let's have a look again on the graph. So right, this is the graph that we have right now, and we can just see a big picture of what the virus like rise up. So this is the first date up until now. So you can see that it's quite serious, the cases that have been found. Okay, one thing you can see that the tooltips underneath what I show you right here, you can see the date as well as the time as well, but the time here, it's not what we are going to need, because the data that we get from it doesn't indicate that the time that it gets, because we show it for each day. So I'm going to remove that one, and for the day, it starts with the 21st of January, but then when we have a look here, we can see that the date is actually 22nd. So the reason is that before I remove the time here, I'm going to show you why it's shown differently from what we can see in the code here. Okay, so now let me just remove this one real quick. So that's it, and then this is the curved mode. Yep, that should be good. Okay, so now let's go again, and you can see that the time has been removed. Okay, so now let's talk about the date that we can see here, which is starting from the 21st of January, but again here this 22nd of Jan. So the reason again I already mentioned, because of the time zone. So you can see right here, this is the time zone of Australia. It's right here at the 9th of May, but then and this is the current time. So now let me just quickly change my time zone from Australia time zone, Melbourne. Just go and change it to the United States, which is this one right here, Central Time. So once I change that, you can see that this is the time. It's 1 day before Australia. Right now it's at 8:36 p.m. The date which is on the 8th of May. Now let's just go back again and I try to refresh this, and then we'll check to see if the date is correct now. Okay, as you can see right here down there, it says 22nd of the January, which is right here. You can see the date coming from that up until the 7th of May. Now let me just go there here, 7th of May, down there you can see that. So this is because of the time zone that you may see looking differently. So now let me just change it back to Melbourne, Australia, and then let me just refresh this real quick, and you can see that this is the time. So let me just check again. You can see this is 1 day before I'm currently recording. So that's looking a little bit different, but again, it's because of the time zone. And we can also see this is the color for the cases, which is the blue one, and then the green one, which is the recover, that one, which in this case the orange color. And we can see it goes up for the cases, and this is the death and as well as the recover. So next one, let's see if we can configure a little bit with using this library. So here you can see we have the charts and the height. So this is the type. So there's one which is the data label. First by default is set this as false. I'm going to set this as true and then see what we can see on the website here. Alright, so here basically when I try to set that as true, we can see the number directly here without having to hover my mouse on that. So we can see that data here, but I just want to change this back to false. And then for the type here, I just want to see what else I can do. If you remember, we have the line graph, so let me just change this to line graph. and then I refresh that again. So this one is, so when I change that, we can see nothing's actually changed, nothing happened at all. So let's just check down here. We can see that right here we also have the type and also have the height as well. So these two are actually the same thing. What if I just remove this and see if it actually, it's still working. So just remove that and then change the area to line, and the height just keep us 350. And now right here we can see that we have already changed the style from the area to graph. So this is what it's looking right now. And then next one, I want to change it to bar graph. So let me just type the bar right here, see if we get that right. So here we go. We can also change the type of the graph, that the chart here, to the one with the bar graph. So this is what it's looking like. I think that I want to, basically in this page, I want to show two graphs rather than just like one. So first one, again, I just keep the original one, which is the area. I really like the look of this one. Next one, I just put it right here, again using the same option, using the same series coming from the data on top there. And then the type here, I just changed this to bar graph. I like to have these two. So now let me just refresh, try to render again. Okay, so we can see that right here inside the graph page we have two. One is the area chart, the other one which is the bar graph. And the main feature, or what make this library interesting, is that, so say I'm going to come here and I can just click on this button to zoom in to see the data for each day. But again, in this case, we don't have the data for each day yet. I just choose 2 dates from 1 month. And we can also click this to just scroll. Let me just zoom in, and then we can just use this to scroll left, to scroll right, and click on the home to reset zoom. And right here, what make it special is that we can just click on that and try to download this graph as well. So let's see, I want to download this in the picture format, the PNG. So here we go. It's already downloaded. When I try to click open it, you can see that here it is. We can actually try to download that from this library as well. So that what make it really interesting. And again, for this one, it with the CSV file, the Excel file. Okay, so here you can see when I try to open that, you can see this is the value that I just entered it in the React application. So coming from this date up until this date, and this is the number of cases recovered and also the death. So this is very cool. So this is the date, all of this data, and along with this date. So this is actually it's showing right here. And again, for this one, same thing. I can just download this image type, and also with this CSV, also with this SVG as well. So now let's just have one quick final look here. This is the graph, the image, the bar graph, and again the same as the previous one. And this is the SVG. So this is what it looks right now. How cool is that? And again, so for this title, I might change a little bit. Maybe I just use something like this, global states, right here. So just change that title. COVID-19 global graph. So that's what I'm going to call it. Refresh again. Alright, so this is the title of this page, and yep, I think that's looking a lot better now. This is the about page, this is the home page. So here we have the animation, but for the graph we don't have that. The reason is that we right now use hard-coded data, so that's loading very quick. One last thing before I finish this video, just right click and then just want to check the responsiveness of this website, see if this graph is actually responsive. Okay, so here this is it. Right, so as you can see that it's actually responsive. Here we go. Let's look a lot better. Okay. Hope you learned something how to install this library and how to insert the data into it and try to make some change. And the cool thing about this library, again, it's got this modern looking charts, and also when I try to refresh it, you can see this kind of animation. And also we can also download this data as well, and can zoom in, zoom out, and try to reset it. And this is the label for the date from here to start up until now, and this is the total. So this is the basically right now it's around, so in this the latest data here it's around 4 million cases, and we can see that this value will automatically generate it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the tutorial. Hope you learned something from this video, and until then, see you guys in the next video.